Ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at the shop. Yes, we're going to look at the shop and we're going to suggest tanks that you could buy, or we're going to suggest tanks that you should stay the hell away from. So of course, the first up we've got in the store is the battle passes. Of course, the £4.49 battle pass I always think is a must, because you are getting a lot for your money, and of course if you use things like Amazon or the Huawei app gallery, you can get this for even cheaper. You can get that for half the price through Huawei, so like £2 sort of 20, £2.25. you can get that a lot cheaper than it is, and it's definitely worth that money. Moving on to the tanks now, we have two tanks here, the Emil 1951 and the Samoa SM, and these are both for sale for 17.5k gold. Of course you get a few attachments with that. You get the camouflages, you get ×5 full equipment, so 17.5k gold. I do think that is a lot of money. I do think that is a lot of money for two tanks, but you know, if you average it out, for me, I average sort of a tier 8 to be around 8,000 gold. So for 17.5k gold, I do think that is a bit pricey, so I would honestly just stay away from them with that price. Of course, you've got next the AMX 31ER prototype. Now this is for sale for £18, and this is actually a very, very good tank, which we are going to have a look at very, very soon. M3 light there, very cheap bundle with 7 days of premium and a crate there, £2.49. I mean, that is just cheap. If you've got the money, then yeah, of course it's worth buying all these little cheap deals for them kind of prices, because you're getting the tank for free, and £2.49 for 7 days premium is good enough as it is, let alone the tank. Moving on, we have the AMX CDC and the AMX 1357. Now I like both of these tanks. The CDC is pretty good. It's not half as good as it once was, and of course the AMX 1357, the 6-shot auto loader, is a fun tank to play as well. And for 10,000 gold, however, I do think that is just probably a little bit costly as well. Moving on, the 047, the 047, 047, however you want to call it, £10 there, or you can buy it for gold at £5.5k gold. Not a bad price, if I'm honest. 5.5k gold is a pretty decent price for what you're getting. 30 days premium, 500,000 credits, the Phoenix camouflage. It's not the best of tanks, but you know, it's quite a rare-ish tank. Not many people play it. And for 5.5k gold, I do think that is actually a very good price. Of course, you've got the VK90. Stay away from the crate. That Wargaming do this occasionally, where you either get the tank or you get 8,500 gold. For 20 quid, just there's no point buying the crate. Just buy the gold that is needed and get the tank itself. 22.5k gold for the tank. Obviously it is a little bit more than any normal tier 10, which usually comes between 15 and 20k gold, but this VK90 doesn't come for sale often. It's very, I think this is like one of the first times or second time it's been for gold, so of course it is going to be a little bit more expensive than the others. Of course, you got the keys there, which you can get the Super Hellcat, etc. And of course, you've still got the WZ122TM crates. Decent tank, but again, it's crates. I would just wait for the tank to come for gold. Moving on, for 10,000 gold. Now, this is what I'm talking about. You're getting the E75 TS and the German Bulldog, both good tanks. And again, 10,000 gold for two tanks. Divide that by 2, it equals 5,000 gold per tank, and that is actually worth it. They're both good tanks. The German Bulldog is a fun tank, especially with the HE, the high HE pen like the RU251 has got. They're both pretty decent tanks. Of course, we go down to the tanks itself. You can buy some of these individually, like the Samoa there, 12.5k gold, which again I still think it's a little bit too expensive, and the Emil 1951. I mean, of course, again, you've got the AMX there and everything else that we've seen. The CDC, which you can buy it separately at 6.5k gold. And the AMX 1357 you can buy separately as well. for 5k gold. So definitely there are some good bundles. The E75 TS and the German Bulldog is probably the best bundle to buy here, but if you've got the money and you don't have the gold and you've got the money, this is the only downfall with this bundle here with the AMX. It's a very good bundle, really good bundle. At £18, you're getting the tank, 30 days of premium, a camouflage, full equipment, ×5s, you're getting 20 lots of ×5s, and overall it's a very good tank. Now this tank was, if not, it's probably one of the better tier, it was one of the better tier 9 medium tanks, and especially when you're up against tier 8s, it is actually very good. It's got speed, it's got turret, it's got it's got a turret armor, it's got gun depression, and it looks really good. When you're up against tier 10, this tank used to be able to hold itself. Nowadays, obviously, with the newer tanks that are coming into the game, it is getting a lot weaker. It is getting a lot weaker, and with the other medium tanks like the Centurion around it, and the tier 10 medium tanks getting all buffed, this has kind of sort of fell behind a little bit, but it's still a fun tank to play. I would probably recommend running it with calibrated shells, because when you do come up against tier 10s, you actually struggle to pen things like the E100 cheeks, the Jaegeru cheeks. So yeah, I definitely probably recommend running it with calibrated shells. We're not running it with calibrated shells in this game. Of course, when you are up against tier 8s, you don't really need that calibrated shells. But as most people know, in tier 9, majority of your games is going to be tier 10. Now, we got lucky with this game because there are only 2 tier 9s and the rest are tier 8s. So when you are top tier, this tank is even more better than it is. Always try and get in the hold down. If you do buy the tank, it's a French tank with a very nice turret, and like I said, it's really nice. It's what the AMX 30B should be, really. The AMX 30B is very similar, but of course it's tier 10, but it has that massive hatch on top. This doesn't have that weak point. This doesn't have that big hatch on top that the AMX 30B has got. Now, before these tanks come into the game, the AMX 30B and the Proto, there was actually supposed to be in their own tech tree. So this was supposed to be the tier 9, the AMX 30B was supposed to be the tier 10, but then Wargaming sold these tanks. I don't know what they sold first. I don't know if it was the 30B or this. I can't really remember, to be honest. I think it was this. So as soon as they sold this, we was just like, okay, so that's not going to be its own line then. But usually when Wargaming resell this tank, it's usually for sale for around 10k gold. But this time around, they have done it for money instead of gold, which they will do occasionally. But yeah, I still think even with money, I still think it's a very good price, because it's still a fun tank to play. I don't really play it as often as I once did, but then again, I don't really play too many tanks that I once played, because I don't play the game as much as I did back a few years ago. But you're still getting a fantastic tank. It's a really nice tank. It's a fast tank with gun depression, turret armor. And I believe that it is really worth that price. The asking price that Wargaming has got, I do think it is worth the price. And you can, like I said, when you're up against tier 8, you can farm up that damage and you can get bounces. I mean, we've only bounced one shot here. You can't get too many bounces in tier 10. But if you go hold down and just show your turret, use the gun depression, you will get bounces in this thing, because it is actually a very strong tank. So just one tank to deal with now, which is the Tiger 2. We've managed to farm up. If we can get one more shot into him, we're going to farm up 4k easy. Yes, we've only got if we got lucky there, we actually rammed him, and we left ourselves with 2 HP, but a pretty decent game. Credit wise, I mean, it makes decent credits, as you can see, 4k damage and 110,000 credits. So definitely, I think this is a really good bundle to buy, but for me, the bundle of the week has to go for the E75 TS and the German Bulldog. For both of them tanks for 10k gold. They've both got good tanks, and they are both quite cheap. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. With